You don't have to guide me, nothing. The midwife kept saying, Grace, put your leg like this. And first of all, I could not lie on my back when I was in labor. I had to lie on my side. But she told me, oh, Grace, you lie on your back, you would lift your bum up, and then your legs would be like this, and I'll tell you when to push. I said, it's like you don't understand what's happening here. This baby is pushing itself out. Like all ones they are saying, I cannot hear it, the baby cannot hear it because the baby was literally pushing himself out of my body. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on my video and I hope that you enjoy this type of content and you should subscribe. My name is Grace. I'm a mom of three. I'm a homemaker. I enjoy slow living. And on this channel, I share bits and pieces of my everyday life and experiences. And I hope that there's a connection that would make you subscribe, share the video, leave a comment, like, and all that amazing stuff. So welcome once again. As you can see from today's video, the very anticipated for me best story for my third baby. I shared the best story for my second baby, so I'll link it somewhere here or in the description so you can watch that, because I might be referring to that video just a little bit here and there. So if you want to watch that video, go ahead to watch that first before you come back to watch this. So yeah, I had my third baby 4 weeks ago. It will be 4 weeks tomorrow by the time I'm recording this video. And it was one of the most intense experience of my life, from the birth to the afterbirth. And that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to be sharing all the details of what happened. It's been 4 weeks, and even though I would have loved to record this earlier, I unfortunately could not because of how things went. And this is the first time that I'm even just sitting down to process and think about everything that happened without crying. I strongly believe that I'll be able to go through with this video without crying because baby is doing fine, I'm doing fine. We have gone past that situation by the special grace of God. All right, so let's jump right into it. So for context, I had a VBAC. Okay, for my first baby, I had a cesarean. For my second baby, I had a vaginal birth after cesarean. That's a VBAC. And it was a very long, if you watch that video, you see that it was over 40 hours of labor before I eventually gave birth. So for this baby, one of my prayers was I wanted it short. I did not want labor to linger. Those were just my prayers. God, please just help me to have a very short labor. I didn't want it to linger. I didn't want to start contracting days and days and days and days and days on and without making any progress. I didn't want a case where they will check me multiple times and they'll say, oh, you're not dilating. Because that was the case for my second rather. So I didn't want any of that, right? So another thing that I remember doing was, this thing that, like when you find out you're pregnant, they give you an EDD, estimated delivery date. I realized that with my first, because of the EDD and the anxiety, for me, I don't know if that's how most people are, but from just conversation, I know that there are some other moms that have experienced this. So I realized that just waiting for that EDD made me anxious, tired, um, and I just wanted to be over with the pregnancy because there was a date that I was counting down to, and once I was getting closer to the date, and I was not showing any signs of labor or anything, it just made me anxious, tired. When is this baby coming? I'm tired. I can't carry this pregnancy anymore. And you know that the third trimester, if you've been pregnant before, you know that the third trimester, towards the end of third trimester, when all your body aches, when sleeping is difficult, everything is just hard. you don't want any added pressure. Imagine having an added pressure of, oh, looking at a time, looking at a clock, or when is this baby coming, this baby is not coming, and stuff like that. So for me, after experiencing that with my first and second, for my first, by 38 weeks, I was done. I went to the hospital on my 38 weeks appointment, and I was like, how can we get this baby out? And one thing led to another, and I had a CS that day. For my second, at 40 weeks, I packed my bag and went to the hospital and told them that I'm contracting. They should remove the, they should check I'm contracting. They're like, you're not contracting, like you've not made any progress. And so for when I found out I was pregnant for my third, I intentionally, first of all, I didn't even go to the hospital till I was maybe 6 months pregnant, thereabouts. And the reason was because I just wanted to limit. I think maybe because I already had experience, and my third pregnancy was very close to my second. I became pregnant for my third baby when I was just 6 months postpartum with my second. So I still had like a fresh understanding of what my body was doing and stuff. I didn't really need any medical intervention, and I knew that I was fine. Baby was fine. I was not having any off symptoms, so I didn't go to the hospital till maybe I was 6 months pregnant. And when I went to the hospital and they gave me an EDD, I didn't fix my, I was not fixated on that EDD. I gave myself extra 2 weeks thereabouts after the EDD. And that was like my own EDD. Do you understand? So I was not fixated on what the doctor said or what the scan was saying. I didn't allow myself to go through that pressure because I knew from my experience with my first two, I knew how that impacted me, my mental health, my pregnancy, and everything. And it also like impacted my motivation, like when it was now time for delivery. So I didn't want any of those things to happen this time around. So I just set myself up for success, if I would say, by just pushing my expectations hard. And if baby comes earlier, fine. But I've given myself extra 2 weeks, right? So at 40 weeks, you would have seen from my past videos that I really kept myself engaged from like 38 weeks, 39 weeks, 40 weeks. Like I already planned things during this period that would just take my mind off the pregnancy, right? From homemaking to nesting to just pampering myself. I wanted I don't want to be distracted during that period, and it really worked. But my 40 weeks appointment, I saw my gynecologist, the same gynecologist I used for my second baby. I saw him and he said, he checked me and he said that I was 2 centimeters dilated and he tried to do a membrane sweep, right? A membrane sweep is just like when labor starts, you're supposed to have like your mucus plug fall off. So the plug is like something that covers your cervix. So what the membrane sweep does is just like sweeping around the cervix to like stimulate labor. That's basically what it does. But when he did that, I was about 2 centimeters dilated. So and then he said the baby was not engaged yet. He said it was down, but he was not engaged. So the goal from 40 weeks to 41 weeks for me was to like move around. He just told me try to do some exercises, move around. So I had a bouncing ball I was bouncing on, a gym ball rather I was bouncing on and doing several exercises and just doing things that would help my body to like prepare my body for labor. So I didn't do. I tried to do the mild circuit. I think that's what's called. The one that I really did for a long time was the one that you lie on one side and put your leg on top a heap of pillows. I did that a lot because for me it was even comfortable for me to sleep. I'll just do that and fall asleep. I tried to do the other two. I can't even remember what they are, but I tried to do the other two. Okay, one of them that you would lie on the bed and you lift your back up. I tried to do that one as well. And then the third one, I didn't really use that one a lot. But I don't know if any of those things worked. Because some people say that they did in my cycles and they got into labor the next day or in a couple of hours. But I don't think that was the case for me. I was just doing it randomly and I would also like go up and down the stairs. Basically just trying to move my body. That was what I was doing. Throughout that week I had on and off mild contraction. Nothing significant. I'm looking down here because I tried to write some things, even though at some point I lost track and I didn't write again. So I had mild contractions on and off during the week. Interestingly, for my three pregnancies, I've never had vaccine hicks, or maybe I've had them, but I did not know that that's what they were. Because when people say they have vaccine hicks, I can't relate because I don't know what that is. So maybe I'm having them and I don't know what I'm supposed to feel. I don't know. But for my three pregnancies, I can't remember having vaccine hicks. So from my 40 week to 41 week, that whole week, I was having like mild contractions here and there. On Monday, the next Monday, for when I was 41 weeks, I woke up. So before that Monday, even before my 40 weeks, 38 weeks, I had done some research on some herbs that I wanted to take towards the end of my pregnancy just to help my uterus to contract better, and also just so these herbs are mainly focused on like feminine health that also help during pregnancy. So I was taking three herbs, stinging nettle. I was taking a lot of stinging nettle because I wanted something to help with my blood. I could not take the blood supplements, those ones. I could not take them throughout the pregnancy. So, and at some point I was anemic. So I was taking a lot of stinging nettle and also ugu. I think it's called pumpkin leaf in English, but in Nigeria, I think ugu is the Igbo word. So I was taking ugu juice, fresh ugu juice, a lot of it, and I believe that that helped in my blood because I was anemic at some point in my third trimester, and after then, whenever they checked me, they never complained about. I was anemic to the point that they had to give me like an extra dose of the iron supplement, but I just could not take it. If I take it, I would be a mess. I was taking a lot of ugu and also a lot of stinging nettle for that, and I believe that it really helped me. Then I was also taking like dandelion and red raspberry leaf. So everyone knows red raspberry leaf and how it helps like to whether start contraction or for me, I was not really interested in something starting contraction. I just wanted something that would help my uterus so that the time when labor starts is able to contract very strongly and help me to have like faster labor. Like that was my goal with taking these teas because for my second, when I was having the VBAC, I remember that the doctor kept saying that your uterus is not contracting strongly, and so I had to be helped. My uterus had to be helped. If you watch my bed story, you get all the details. So I didn't want the medical intervention this time. So I was doing everything natural to just help my uterus to contract very strongly. I wanted my uterus to be healthy, just so that it can like function properly during the labor and delivery. All right, so on 41 week, I woke up that morning before my appointment, before going for my 41 week appointment. I took a very strong concentration of singing nettle, dandelion, and red raspberry leaf. I also want to add that I grew these herbs myself. So I have a small garden at home, and I sourced for these herbs, the seedlings, and I planted them, and I've been like I got them specifically for this, right? So that day I took off very fresh ones from the garden, the three herbs that I mentioned, and I did a very concentrated brew of those three herbs, and I took it. That I took the tea, and then I got dressed. While I was getting dressed for my appointment that day, I realized I started having like mild contractions that like I could feel like okay, something's happening. But I was timing it and it was not close at all. So I would have them, they would stop, I would have them, they would stop. So they're just going on and off like that. Well, I got dressed for my appointment and left the house. I almost did not carry my hospital bag because I was like, I'm not sure this this baby will come today. Even though if you watch the labor and delivery vlog that I posted before this video, you would see that I said when I was doing the intro, I think I mentioned that I know that the baby is going to come the next day. So backstory: when I was maybe 3 months pregnant, I about 3 or 4 months pregnant, one random day. So there's this thing that happens to me where I see mo- numbers, double numbers, or numbers I see numbers in doubles multiple times. I think that's the best way to say it. So for example, I can see 1 1, I can see 2 2, I can see 11 11, and I'll see it consistently, like almost every day. So like your the clock, the watch, the time, the clock on your phone when your phone is on rest mode, and you just see your time there. So I would always like those numbers multiple times in the day or in a week. So I kept on seeing 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 for a long time, like day, like I would see it almost every day for weeks, for months. I kept on seeing 11 11. So one day I paused and I was just meditating on it, 11 11, and I sensed in my spirit, like Holy Spirit speaking to me and saying that something significant is going to happen that day, 11 11. So I figured, oh, 11 11 11 is November. That is like the proposed delivery month for my baby. I was pregnant with my baby at the time. Does it mean that he's going to come on 11th of November? Okay, maybe. So I wrote it on my notepad that 11 11, something significant is going to happen this day, blah blah blah. And so on the 10th of November, that was when I was 41 weeks pregnant. That Monday was 10th of November. I still had in my mind that maybe baby will come tomorrow, 11th. So I was like, let me not go to my hospital bar, because I don't want to be admitted today till tomorrow. I'd rather labor at home and then go to the hospital when I know that baby is coming. That what I was thinking. But I said, let me just carry it and just put it in the car just in case. That's to tell you that I did not feel like I would give birth that day. I did not feel like labor will intensify or anything. I just felt like my body is just preparing itself for labor. Let me just go for my appointment, see what the doctor says. My goal for that appointment was for the doctor to check me, let me know how far gone I was, and then we'll just discuss what's the next step. Should I go back home and continue laboring? Am I in labor? That was just my plan, right? I packed my stuff and I went to the hospital. On my way to the hospital, I was feeling the contractions. I think from my house to the hospital is like a 20 minutes drive, and I'll say on that drive, maybe I had about three contractions or four contractions thereabouts. Some of them will be intense, some of them will not be intense. So I was like, oh, thank God, my body is contracting, and it means that I'm making progress. Let me hear what the doctor says when I get to the hospital. So I got to the hospital. That day was a Monday. Interestingly, the hospital was so full. It's a private hospital, but it was full, like in almost all the departments, almost like there was an outbreak and everybody just had to be in the hospital. The obstetrics and gynecology departments, that's where I see my doctor, was also full. There were so many women there, both pregnant women, not pregnant women, that wanted to see the gynecologist as well. When I got to the hospital, I started feeling more contractions, right? But again, I didn't think that it was anything significant. So I got to the hospital, let's say I got to the hospital around 12 in the afternoon. And I started feeling more contractions. I would just like move around. There was no even place for me to sit down. That's how full the hospital was. I would just move around. And if you see me when I'm pregnant, I don't really look like I am 3 months pregnant. Like the day I gave birth, I didn't really look like I was 3 months pregnant. So people would see me, the nurses would see me, even though the nurses and midwife knew that I was already like due for delivery, the ones that know me. But if you just see me, you think that I'm just here for antenatal, or I'm just here to see the doctor. Like you will not think of anything serious. That's how I look. I look very unassuming, right? My tummy is not so big, nothing. So I was waiting in line to see the gynecologist for my appointment. Or before then, a nurse had to take my vitals, my blood pressure, and all those things. So while she was taking my vitals, she wanted to check my weight, and then she noticed that I think as she was trying to check my weight, the contraction came, and I was like not balanced on the scale. Like I almost fell. She was behind me and she just caught me. She's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes, I'm okay, but I think I'm in labor." Or I just said that no, I didn't say I think I'm labor. I said I've been contracting. I'm contracting, even though it's not so serious, but I'm here for my 41-week appointment, and when the gynecologist sees me, he'll let me know if I'm actually in labor or not. That's why I'm here. Oh, she was like, oh, no problem. Okay, let me get you a place to sit down. So she had me sit down somewhere, but sitting down was uncomfortable. I could not sit down, except the chair was so soft. If it was not soft, so the hard chair, I could not sit down. So I thought I could not sit down. So I just stood up and I was pacing around. But the queue was so long. I waited for like an hour, even more than an hour, because I eventually, so I was waiting outside, and then the midwife would see me and say, Grace, are you okay? I told her I'm having a contraction. Like I've been having contractions, and I was timing it. And she was like, I'm not sure um is that she's not sure like I'm seriously contracting because of how I did not look like I was crying or anything or I was in pain. So it was just uncomfortable and I would just sway around. So she said that if it's really serious, let's go to the emergency unit and they'll just take me as an emergency delivery or they would take me as an emergency patient. So we went to the emergency unit and it was also full. Like I said, the hospital was full to the brim daddy. The emergency unit was also full. There was no bed. There was no available doctor. Like there was so many emergencies. Like it was crazy. So we went back upstairs and she said that let her go and tell my doctor that she thinks that I'm in labor. She told the doctor he was with another patient, and he said okay, she should check me to see how far I've gone. So the midwife came back, told me that let's go to an examination room, and then she checked me. Lo and behold, I was 6 centimeters dilated. And she was like, oh my goodness, Grace, like everywhere there is so soft. Like this baby is going to be here very soon. This was like maybe past one thereabouts. This baby is going to be here very soon. Let us get the labor room ready for you. So she went, told some nurses they went to get the labor room ready. Okay, she told the doctor first, the gynecologist, that Grace is 6 centimeter dilated. Or what should we do? She's already in labor. Doctor said, okay, get the labor room ready for her. So they got the labor room ready for me. And by the time I settled into the labor room, it was like around 2 o'clock or after two. So I was in labor room waiting for them. They had plugged all the monitor everything to my tummy, and the contractions were coming even more intense at that point. So from 2 o'clock till five, I gave birth at 5:14 or 5:41. From 2 o'clock to 5:41, things just escalated. So remember, I was not sure I was in labor. I thought this was just not serious contraction. My body was just preparing. I was not sure of anything. So I think the serious contraction started maybe like around one when I was tracking it, and it was like happening like every 1 to 2 minutes, and then by five. So from two, if you watch my labor and delivery vlog again, last video I was able to make was by two. From that two, where I could even still sit down, I could even still talk and smile and drink water. From that two to five, when I gave birth, everything happened very fast, like very very fast. So contractions kept intensifying, and around five, or let's say around 4:30, my gynecologist came and he checked me, and I was 8 centimeter dilated. And then he was like, "Oh, you're doing very well. You might still be here for maybe another 2 3 hours, but if in like an hour or two you have not progressed past it, or baby is not here, he might give me a little bit of oxytocin just to help my contractions be stronger, and so baby can come." My gynae did not come back. By the time he came back, baby was already out. Like that's how fast things progressed after he left. My body did not even get to 10 centimeter dilated before baby came. And I remember like feeling very strong pressure down there. And I kept telling the midwife, this baby is going to be here soon. Baby is going to be here very soon. I said, oh, you're not 10 centimeter dilated yet. I said, okay. Oh. And yeah, baby just came. His head came out and his body flew out. And this time around, my gynecologist was not even in labor room when I gave birth because of how fast they could not before they could call him before he could get to labor room. But like I said, the hospital was very full, so he had other patients he was attending to. Before he could get to labor room, Baby was already here, and so normally he would tear me if he sees that baby's head is coming and he needs more space. That the first, my second baby, he tore me and I also tore, but this time he was not there and it was very fast. You're telling me not to push yet. There is no time to push. That I should hold on. That they will teach me how to push when it's time to push. But there's this thing that my body does. I don't know if it happens to every woman, but my body ejects the baby when it's time. There's a medical term for it. It's called fetal ejaculation, I think, or ejection or whatever. But my body literally pushes the baby out. It's not me, like, when you're watching movies and they say, okay, it's time to push, 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 push. It doesn't happen like that for me. I know that I've watched some birth vlogs, and I know that when when the mama is maybe she's on epidural and she can't feel the pressure, she can't feel the contractions, they have to guide her to push. So she cannot even feel if her body is ejaculating the body. Is What am I saying? She can't feel it if her body is ejecting the baby. Rather, they have to guide her. Say, oh, push, oh, this. But for me, you don't have to guide me. Nothing. The midwife kept saying, Grace, put your leg like this. And first of all, I could not lie on my back when I was in labor. I had to lie on my side. But she told me, oh, Grace, you lie on your back. You would lift your bum up, and then your legs will be like this, and I'll tell you when to push. I said, it's like you don't understand what's happening here. This baby is pushing itself out. Like what ones they are saying, I cannot hear it, the baby cannot hear it because the baby was literally pushing himself out of my body. Now, something I missed. When my doctor came and checked when I was 8 centimeters dilated, my water had not broken then. So he broke my waters. And when he broke my water, he noticed that there was meconium in my water. Now, hold that thought because that's a very important factor or important aspect of what happened next, right? So there was meconium in my water, and then when baby came, the midwife was telling me this later that when baby came, no, even as baby came, my head has saying that there was so much meconium on his body, like meconium stain on his body, right? So baby came at 5:41, I think, and I was just relieved and happy that baby had gone. So I tore really bad, according to what they were saying. I tore even on my like my urine, where the urine comes out from. Like I think that part also tore. Anyways, they did the stitching. I like that stitching used to be very painful, but they did it, and I was resting because of how fast and intense it was. I was in so much pain after this particular birth compared to my second. My second was slow and continued for a long time, like for like a long time. I was in labor for over almost 2 days. But this one I was in labor for like 5 hours thereabouts before baby came. So it's almost like everything was compressed in those 5 hours, and and it took a toll on my body. I was really, really, really tired. I remember being very, very tired. Anyways, they took baby, started cleaning him, and all those things that they did. So this is like the end of part one of this birth story. Now we are heading into part two, where the drama began. So fasten your seatbelt. Are you ready? Because it's about to get real. Oh, I'm smiling now, but it's not even funny. We are heading to part two. Now let's get into the main drama. So it's almost like my labor and delivery had to be fast so that the main drama could begin. Because if for any reason my labor progressed more than it did, this story would have been completely different. And you understand in a moment. Okay, so I gave birth, they cleaned up baby. Normally they would give baby maybe glucose or something when babies are born, and mommy is not lactating yet. So or mommy is even still resting just after the labor. So they took baby like around maybe around 7 ish p.m. I was in the labor room around 7 p.m. ish to feed him with syringe. They fed him, they brought him back. They didn't tell me anything was off or anything. But then after that, and after I also ate, they had to move us to another room. So after they moved us to that room, me and my husband were just thinking about the entire. My husband was with me throughout in the labor room, just talking about the entire labor and delivery and how fast and intense everything was. I tried to start to breastfeed, but I noticed that each time I put my breast into baby's mouth, he would like push it away, like he was not having it, he was not latching. So you know this latching. So there is this latching. Is something that comes naturally with baby. Latching. The word is coming to my head and disappearing. If it comes, I'll say it. But babies latch from birth. Like when once they are born, they will start to do trying to find the breast to suck and latch. Okay, I think I'll call it the sucking reflex. Yeah, that's what reflex. So it's a reflex that is natural for all babies. When I even researched on it, the percentage of babies that don't have that reflex is like almost 0.1%, a very small percent. And most times it's because of an issue. That's why they don't have that sucking reflex. So my baby did not have the sucking reflex. He was not sucking bottle, he was not sucking the breast. So they had to keep feeding him with his syringe. And even with the syringe, it was a struggle because swallowing was like, he was just crying, right? And then during that night, the first night in the hospital, I noticed that there was a grunting sound, like grunting when he was breathing. Like it was a grunting sound. Like I know that some babies have that sound, but I just remember feeling very off throughout that night, and I just kept saying something's wrong with this baby. There was a time at night I would wake up and just sit down beside his bed, and I was just looking at him. Aside from the fact that he was having that grunting sound, it just felt like this baby. Like each time I carried him, it felt like he was not himself. It felt like I had not seen my baby yet, right? There was just that knowing in my spirit that something was wrong with this baby, but I did not know what it was. And I was also tired. Like that night, that first night, I was really tired. I could not even really wake up so many times during the night. It was my husband and the nurse that was taking care of baby, feeding him. The nurse was feeding him, changing his diaper. Then if baby wakes up in between feed or in between time changing his diaper, the nurse would carry him or my husband would carry him and just pace around. And my husband also noticed that he was having that grunting sound. Then when I woke up in the morning, like around 5 or 6, my husband mentioned to me that baby vomited at night after one of his feeds that he vomited. Okay, so they woke me up by around 5. I had my bath. Well, I woke up by like around 5. Had my bath, freshened up. I was supposed to be moved to another room, so freshened up. We moved to that other room. The nurse came, took care of baby, and brought him to that other room. Also tried to feed him. So that's like around 6, 7 in the morning. She fed him and brought him to me. Now, if you watch the labor and delivery vlog, the next day in the vlog where I was trying to end the vlog at that point, you would hear. I also added a note on that part of the video, like listen carefully to hear, like if you can hear the grunting sound from my baby. So all that period, my baby was fighting for his life. With the grunting sound, my baby was literally trying to breathe, right? He so that grunting sound was and like it was not normal for the baby to be grunting like that, like trying to breathe. And if you notice in that part of the video, I kept looking down at him and looking up at the camera, looking down at him, looking up at the camera. I was like, what was this noise? That's what was going on in my head. Immediately I ended that part of the video, a midwife came in and I mentioned to her that baby has not latched. Baby is having a grunting sound. This was the midwife that took my birth that was in the labor room for my delivery the day before. So I told the nurse that baby is making a grunting sound and baby has not latched. And she kept on saying that no, it's normal. He will eventually latch. But I just felt like something was off. So once the midwife came that morning, I said baby has not latched. Baby has a grunting sound when he's breathing. He's like he's not breathing well. And most importantly for me, baby has not latched. She said, okay, bring baby, let us try. We tried to put it. He'll push the breast away with his tongue. He'll try again. He'll put, and immediately she saw that. She said, this baby is not okay. Let us get the pediatrician. So she tried, she got the, called the, for the pediatrician. Some nurses came and they checked baby. And so I'll just mention like two important vitals. I would say, yeah, two important. So there are two important vitals throughout this whole thing. And I'm also sharing this so that if, God forbid, you're a mom watching this, maybe you're pregnant or you know someone, maybe a close family member to someone who's pregnant, and you experience this scenario, you know what to do, you know what to look out for. So they checked baby um, oxygen saturation. So that is the level at which the lungs is sending oxygen to the brain, right? Normally, that figure is supposed to be around 90 to 90 to 100. So 90 is like low, is the lower end of the figure. 100 is like high end of the figure. Like 95 is like the normal, right? They checked my baby's oxygen saturation and it was 30 something. I think 34. Just imagine that, from 90 something to 34. And the nurse, so the nurse that checked it, she started, you could see like she was not visibly shaking, but she was like, your baby is in distress, get the pediatrician. The pediatrician was attending to somebody. She had to like get it. So my at that point, my gynecologist also came into my room and he was like, what is going on? They told him. He was now the one that like had to, I think she was seeing another patient, so she could not come in immediately. But he had to go and meet her and say, like, you have to come now and see this baby. And so she came and started asking, okay, what happened? And then all they kept saying was that baby vomited at night, that maybe baby, as he vomited, maybe part of the food that he was vomiting went into his airways and went into his lung. That is what it's looking like. Then the midwife now mentioned that, um, remember I told you yesterday that there was meconium in the amniotic fluid, and the pediatrician said, "Oh no, you didn't tell me that there was meconium in the amniotic fluid." Now let me pause here and tell you how my hospital messed up. Now this is not for um, bad rep or throwing shade at them, because this hospital that messed up is that the other branch of them that actually saved my baby's life. So this is not like, I love that hospital. I still recommend people to that hospital, but this is just me. And one reason why I'm sharing this is even just for health workers to understand like the gravity of what they are dealing with when they're in the hospital. And not only that, for health organizations, hospital administration, hospital organizations to understand the importance of actually offering excellent service, because that can that can kill a life. Now let me explain. Now remember I said that the day before that when I gave birth, the hospital was full. They know, the hospital administration knows the capacity they can take, right? But they kept on taking more customers, more patients, knowing that they did not have enough rooms, knowing that they did not have enough doctors, they didn't have enough nurses. They were clearly understaffed, right? The facility was full and they kept on taking more people. What I expected them to do was, okay, the facility is full. Don't take in more patients. Like, as patients are coming, you let them know that we cannot handle you, we can't take you now. That's better than for a patient to be waiting for 2, 3 hours and at the end of the day receive crappy service, right? So the facility was full, they kept on taking more patients. They didn't have enough staff, they didn't have enough nurses that was on shift. They kept taking more patients. After I gave birth, I was supposed to be moved to the recovery ward. All the rooms were full. They had to keep me in another, I don't even know what to call, like a makeshift room. That's where I spent the first night. When I woke up that day, I was taken back to the labor room. If you watch my labor vlog, you would even understand better because you remember that the next day I was still in the same room where I gave birth, where there were so many machines and wires. Like that is not how a recovery ward looks like. But I'll still put sent back to the labor room because they did not have any room for me. Can you imagine that? Now, because the hospital was full, they were attending to so many patients at the same time. When I gave birth, the normal ideal protocol after a baby is born is that the what's it called? After the baby is born, the pediatrician should be in the labor room when the baby is born. Once the baby is born, the pediatrician and her team takes the baby, take all the vitals, check for anything like at birth was there, and things like, oh, there was meconium in the amniotic fluid. Check, okay, did the baby swallow any of that? Did the baby aspire any of that? Check for it immediately at the point of birth so that you can curb anything that might have happened, right? But I noticed that after I gave birth, the pediatrician was not even in the room when I gave birth. Like I said, my gynecologist was not even in the room when I gave birth. When eventually the pediatrician came, she just looked at the baby. Oh, okay, is everything fine? Like she did not even like take any measurements. The midwife and other nurses had done all of those things. She did not even check anything, take any measurements or check the baby. Or oh, the baby is fine. Okay, mommy is fine, and she left. She didn't even stay in the room for up to 2 minutes, and she left. Now the next day, when the midwife was like, "I told you yesterday that meconium was in the fluid," because the midwife was already sensing that something was off, and she was already linking it to the meconium that is so. Because she was like, the meconium was a lot, like really stained the baby's body, and my labor was very fast, so the baby too would have been under pressure or under like stress. And when the baby is under stress, the possibility of the baby inhaling meconium is high. Possibility of the baby injecting it as long as it's in the fluid is high. So those are the things they were supposed to have checked when I gave birth. Immediately I gave birth, if they were in the right, if their right state, because when I gave birth there last year, all of this did not happen. Like they had enough staff. The pediatrician was there throughout, checked everything that needed to be checked. When something was off, she found it immediately and handled it. And before you knew, we were out of the hospital. Everyone was fine. But this time, because they were short staffed, because she was handling so many patients at the same time, she could not focus on my baby, give my baby the attention my baby needed, and pick out what she was supposed to pick out on time. So my baby in aspired meconium in when he was inside my tummy, my womb. So it's called Meconium Aspiration Syndrome. It happens, it's something that happens, and like it's not even a strange diagnosis. It happens a lot, and it's something that once you notice that there's meconium, you check for signs of meconium aspiration syndrome. Like immediately, like that is like standard. That's why it's really paining me that they did not do the standard they were supposed to do, and they put me, my baby, my family through unnecessary stress and pain. Like that is my pain because meconium aspiration syndrome is not a novel diagnosis. Do you understand? It's not something that it just came out of the blues. No, if you find meconium in your baby's in your amniotic fluid, especially when the meconium is a lot, you have to start to check for those signs. Okay, did the baby inject it? Did the baby aspire? Did the baby inhale it? You have to start checking for those signs immediately, right? They didn't do any of that. So from the time I was born till the next morning, my baby was struggling for his life. That is like my baby was literally struggling for his life. The oxidation saturation that's supposed to be 95 went down to 30 something. Went down to 30 something. Do you know how bad it should have been if it was not figured if we didn't try if we didn't if the midwife did not mention it at that time and say something's wrong with this baby and they started addressing it, if that thing continued going down and going down and at the point oxygen was not going to my baby's brain again, that's how my baby will, God forbid, that's how someone's child will become brain dead. Like that's one of the things that causes brain damage. I was so pissed. I was before the midwife even found like mentioned that something's wrong with this baby. Before then, I'd already parad for all of them because remember I said that there was no room for me from the labor when I gave birth. I was in labor room for hours. Normally, after you give birth, they clean you up, and after a few hours, they move you to the ward. I was in labor room for hours. There was no bed for me. Then they moved me to a makeshift room where mosquito almost finished me and my baby because it was not like a proper room, right? Then the next morning I gave birth and the next morning we woke up and I was taken back to the labor room because there was still no bed for me. I'm like, is this like so if that mother is in labor now and needs this labor room, would you move me to the corridor? Like I was so pissed. I was so pissed. Like I told them I needed to see their admin. Like I parad for them, the admin, all of them. I was so pissed. Me and my husband were so pissed. I said, you people are going to see yourself in Channels TV. Like I'm going to report you guys. I'm going to drag you guys because this does not make any sense. It's not as if this is free medical service. People are paying through their nose to get quality medical service, and then you do this, and you're giving them this shitty service. Like I was so pissed. Anyways, after they now found out that baby baby was in distress, respiratory distress, at that point I just even kept my anger aside and I just kept praying for my baby. I said, my baby is in distress, as how, from where to where. So when they were now sharing the details with me, his oxygen saturation is low. They have to put him in NICU. He needs oxygen. My brain was just like when like it was like siren in my brain. Like what am I hearing? Like what is this? Now this day that was happening was 11th of November. I'm like, God, is this a spectacular thing that you say is going to happen in November 11/11? Chukubiko, Chukubiko, Biko, Biko. I am begging you. Is this a spectacular thing? Hey God, I beg. I was just praying. I sent it. I told my close friends and family that please pray. Oh, see the rubbish these ones are saying. Oh, so that was Tuesday. That was the last day I held my baby till days later. So that Tuesday, they put him in the NICU. Put him on. He was taking oxygen, and it was not looking good at all. They started him on antibiotics. All they kept telling us at that point was aspiration something something that he aspired his like he inhaled his food. That's diagnosis they kept telling us. As they called it something, infant aspiration something something, or be newborn aspiration something. They did not want to accept that it was the meconium that they ignored that caused it. No wahala. Then that Tuesday evening, they told us that baby is going to be in the hospital for at least 7 days because he is on antibiotics. And antibiotics, like you have to take it for at least 7 days, and they have to monitor him throughout that period. Like that one even busted my head. But they said that even if they want to discharge me because I'm fine, because baby is still admitted, I'll still be in the hospital with baby. So that even gave me some sort of relief that okay, I'm going to be in the hospital with baby till the end of the 7 days. So I just zeroed my mind. So that Tuesday evening, my blood pressure was very high because I was not handling the situation like from where to where. This was not the plan. After very fast labor and delivery, and now telling me all this story. Then the next morning, Wednesday morning, I went to the NICU. I saw baby. Baby was fine. So baby could not. They just kept feeding baby through a tube. They were not allowing him feed through bottle or breast. He could not even. I could not even carry him because he had to be in the incubator with the oxygen and all those machines. So you could not even move him. That was like one of the most horrible sights. So Wednesday, I went to see baby. He looked like he was doing better. So the the like he was his breathing was like you see his stomach going up and down while he's breathing, like very loud and very high and up. But that Wednesday morning when I went to the NICU, he looked like that breathing it was reducing gradually. So we're waiting for the pediatrician to come to our room during her ward round to give us like full details of what is the progress like and stuff. So she came, then she told us that Yes, baby is doing better, but she's not comfortable with the progress he's making. That the breathing is still, he's still in distress, respiratory distress, and he's still struggling to breathe even with the oxygen. That she would want to transfer us to the same hospital but another location, still in Lagos. They have better equipment in their NICU that would help him. Basically, they needed something they needed another equipment that would take over or assist him more with his breathing, so that his lungs can properly heal and he's not like stressing the lungs because he was exerting so much energy just by trying to take air into his lungs successfully. So they wanted something that would help to relieve that. So we're supposed to go to they said they were going to transfer us to another hospital, and um, I would go with the ambulance, and baby will be in the NICU there, blah, blah, blah. That she has called the NICU, she has called them, she had the neonatal specialist, she has spoken to them that they are preferring us to go. It was just sounding like this is super story. It looked like they casted me for a movie. It looked like I'm a Nollywood actress. Like, is this film? You mean to say that you'll carry my baby inside ambulance and I'll be going where to another location, and they'll put my baby inside another machine. In the moment, I was like, okay, no problem. We start packing my things. So they discharged me immediately and gave me my medication. We start packing. That's this now Wednesday. We packed our things. The paramedics got ready. They carried baby into the ambulance, and I went to them. And I was in the ambulance. I was just praying. I was just praying for this child. In the ambulance, they had to attach him to an oxygen in the ambulance because
Sorry,
he could not really breathe by himself. He really could not breathe by himself. If he tried breathing by himself, he was not breathing enough that would take enough oxygen to his brain. So they had to place him on oxygen at every time. I remember being in that ambulance, and that day I saw Lagos through a different lens. I saw the kindness in people's eyes just as they watched the ambulance in the in the thick of traffic on Terminal Bridge. I saw how kind people were and just allowing the ambulance to pass. How the traffic warden would just clear the road for us to pass. And as we're going, like you could see them praying, you could see it just giving gestures like it's going to be okay. And we got to the hospital. They immediately started running tests on him. Then the doctor told us that they actually need to put him in even a higher machine, a ventilator, a mechanical ventilator, because they needed more intensive care and more specialized care for him. They needed a machine that would be able to track very minute information and let us know if he's actually making progress or not. So they put him on a mechanical ventilator, and that evening they told me that since it's since it's a new hospital and I was not on admission in this new hospital, it's only baby that was transferred to the new hospital. I was not transferred. So it's only baby that's going to be admitted in the NICU. And like they cannot admit me in the ward. I'm fine and I'm not with anybody. Do you understand? And I have to go home and come to see baby every morning, every day. I go home, just focus on pumping milk for baby. Even though baby was not taking breast milk at that time, they had to be giving baby some other fluids through a tube in his navel. They really poked my baby. Oh. They poked him everywhere. There was wire connected to almost every part of his body. Anyways, they told me that Wednesday evening that they can't admit me. I have to go home. Without, I have to go home. That was when it dawned on me that I'm going home without my baby. I left my house pregnant. I'm going home without my baby. And there's no baby in my tummy, there's no baby in my hand. Like how? Like that was the point I was my like if I was supposed to run mad, that was where it was supposed to start. Like I just lost it. I lost it. Like I cried. I cried till I did not have any tears again. Like my voice had gone from crying. I remember coming back home and just looking at the bassinet beside my bed. There was no baby there. Woo! I don't wish this on anybody. Oh. You would see posts online of moms that their children are in NICU or babies are in NICU, and you can never understand. You can never understand their pain. Can never understand their pain because I've seen those posts so many times of moms that come back home without their babies, and I never understood. And you will never understand if you have no experiences. You will never understand. You will never understand the pain of giving birth to a child and coming back home without your baby. Anyways, that was Wednesday, and I'm really thankful for this hospital, like the branch that we moved to. I'm really thankful for the neonatal specialist, Dr. Audu. I'm really thankful for him. I'm really thankful for his team. I'm really thankful for their expertise, their service. I'm just really thankful and grateful for those people. Their skills, like I'm really thankful. Like I see medical doctors in a completely different light. I see medical specialists in a completely different light after this experience, especially those that are skilled. Because I've met unskilled specialists, and I'm really thankful for skilled medical specialists because they are literally angels in human form. They are doing the Lord's work. Like you have someone sick in the hospital and you're there praying, you're there going for hallelujah challenge. But God is going to use those people to heal. God's going to use them to heal. There are cases of like miracles and that just happen spontaneously. But when someone is in the hospital going through treatment, is the skill of that professional handling that patient that will determine the outcome. And God uses them. Like I saw God using these people to bring my baby back. Uh, my baby from that Wednesday, my baby was in the hospital and finally discharged the next Wednesday. So my baby was in the hospital for a week and like 2 days. Like I said, I had to go home, and then I came. And when they discharged him from the NICU, a couple of days later, I went back to be with him in the ward till he was finally discharged. And those days were like it was like horror movie because some days I could not even go because I started feeling sick. I could not go to the hospital. I was just at home trying to pump, and my husband would go, my sisters would go with my husband, and they would send me pictures and videos, and just seeing pictures and videos of my baby in that state was just like it broke me in ways I can't describe. I remember one day just crying and say, God, just I just want my baby. Just give me my baby. Like what is all this? What is all this? Eh? Don't use my life as a inspirational story or motivational story. I know that everything is going to turn out well, and you want me to be like an inspiration. I don't want to be an inspiration to anybody. Please, I don't want you find that person to use for all this inspiration thing. Just give me my baby. Eh? Take me out of your strongest soldier list. I'm not doing again. Just take me out. Like I cried there, but in everything I saw the hand of God. In everything I saw the hand of God. I can't even start going into the details of how God showed up for me, for my baby, for my family. Like how God was in the details from my birth plan. I wanted to have a home birth, guys. I wanted to have it. That was my initial birth plan, to have a home birth. I had got the birthing pool. I wanted to have a home birth. I had a midwife that I was working with, and we just were not comfortable with her skills again. We said this lady. We don't think she's skilled enough to handle a birth alone as a principal birth person. And we just told her we're not interested again and asked her to refund. We found a a birthing center very close to where we stay. We went there. They had amazing reviews online. We went there to check the place, and we just could not. We wanted to transfer to another hospital because we for me for this birth I wanted a very natural, low intervention birth. So I wanted to do either a home birth or in a birthing center or in a hospital that will allow that are flexible. Even if you not allow me birth in a pool, at least flexible enough. Because for my second baby in that hospital where I gave birth, like their policy is once you're in labor, they'll strap you to the bed. Like they'll put that monitor on your tummy. You can't labor moving around. You have to labor lying on the bed. And I felt like that was why I tore really bad with my second. So I was looking for an alternative, maybe a hospital that will allow me labor, like walking around and not strap me to a bed. So we almost registered in another hospital that acted as if like that they sounded promising, like they will allow us to, they are flexible, blah blah blah. We almost signed in there, but last minute we just my husband just thought about it, like we're not sure this, like as much as we wanted a home birth or whatever, what was very important to us was being around skilled professionals. Like that was a non-negotiable. You have to be a skilled professional to be able to handle the birth. Like that was a non-negotiable. I know people do home birth alone. But it was just very important that a skilled professional was in this birth, right? Now imagine that we went on with the home birth, and this happened. I'm so sure that that midwife might not even have picked it, or we gave birth. We moved to another hospital that we knew from our experience that they didn't have skilled professionals, and this happened. So God has just been orchestrating everything, making sure that we did not make a mistake, making sure that we stuck to this hospital. Like this hospital, like even though in the location I gave birth, they had their issues, they were able to easily transfer me to another location where they had better specialists and better equipment that could handle it. Like if they did not have that, like do you understand? Like there's just so many details, so many things I cannot even share. Like God was really in the details. And today, baby is fine. He'll be 4 weeks, like I said, tomorrow. Um, his oxygen saturation is perfect now. There was another parameter I wanted to mention. It was the infection level. So they said that the infection normally, the normal rate is supposed to be 1 or something. When he came, his own was 9, very high. But thankfully, before they discharged us, like everything went down, everything cleared. And I just give glory to God that what the enemy meant for evil, like God turned it around for our good, and God just ordered our steps and made sure that we're in the right place at the right time with the right people that could note what was happening to baby and address it immediately. This has been a long, long birth story, and I want to believe I've spoken or I've shared everything I want to share. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your lovely messages. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. I'm sure this one has entered one hour, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you got one or two things. If anything, one reason why I really wanted to share this story was just for someone that this will help, someone that this information will help. Like if you notice that you give birth to a baby and the baby is not latching, the baby is like having what there's a what they call it, like your baby is trying is you can see that the baby is struggling to breathe, or the baby is making that grunting sound. Please, please, please don't keep quiet. Shout until they hear you. Tell them my baby is not fine. Ask for a pediatrician. Ask them to check the oxygen saturation of your baby. Like very, very important. Very, very important. And thanks to Gemini, thanks to AI and ChatGPT, like I was able to, as it was happening, I was researching and asking questions. Okay, what is this? Okay, what is that? Like asking them questions. Okay, what are you doing now? What would that do to the baby? Asking Gemini, is this the right next step? If they say it's not the right next step, I'll go and ask them again. Why? What is the reason for you doing this? As moms, as parents, as dads, we're our children's advocates. If you don't advocate for them, no one will advocate for them. Especially as newborns, where like what will a newborn do for himself? So please don't be scared to ask questions when you see that something is off. Like at some point, I was beating myself and saying, "Why didn't you talk when you noticed throughout the night that baby was making those sounds? Why didn't you shout? Why when you noticed that baby was not latching? Like you could have insisted that there was something wrong and asked them to check baby. You should have insisted. You should have insisted. But like this is not the time to blame anybody. Like I just told myself, like this is not the time to blame yourself, and just be grateful that things turned out well in the end. So yeah, thank you guys once again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. At this point, I don't know if I should keep on saying we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't know. But please just keep subscribing, just keep sharing, and at this point, whatever subscribers reach we get to, I've made peace with it. Oh God. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of you that have subscribed because I just started this thing like few months ago, a few weeks ago. So I'm really grateful for all of you that have subscribed. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully when I get to that 1,000 subscribers, I'll do a very massive giveaway because it's gonna be a dream come true. Well, let's see how it goes. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.